Hello and welcome to this Bizmates question and answer video series for Japanese business people. And today's question is, how important is body language in communication? Great question. Okay, let's look at this. But first, what is body language? Because many people say, yeah, Hika, I think you should always use lots of gestures when you speak English. In Japanese, we don't use so much, but in English, it's important to use. Not necessarily, okay? Now, yes, the people in the West, Canadians, Americans tend to use more body language than other English-speaking countries. But there are other English-speaking countries, they don't use that much body language or gestures, okay? And body language is more than just gestures, okay? It's more than just using your arms and your head. Okay, it's a lot more than that. Let me explain. Okay, there are types of body language. One is posture. And let me just explain what this means. It means the way you stand or the way you sit. And if you're like this, it's bad posture. Of course, this is good posture. Back straight, head a little bit up. Yes, you're confident. Okay, this is one type of body language. Another one is your facial reactions. People often forget that they're communicating a lot with their face. Okay, so smile when you're happy. Look confused when you're confused. Okay, so your facial reactions are really important. Eye contact, very important as well. Okay, if you look the other way, it looks like you're not listening. Okay, but if you look at them, you're telling them you're listening. If you look too much, it's like you're being a little bit aggressive. So the eye contact has a big impact as well. Hand movements are important, but when you speak English, it doesn't mean you should use lots of hand gestures. If you use it too much, it means you're nervous. At least it looks like you're nervous. I try to use hand movements with a purpose. Where there are three things I want to talk about. Please go ahead. That's okay. But every time you speak, you're using gestures, hand movements. It's not always good. And it also depends on the country. Like I said, some cultures, they don't use that much body language or hand movements. And the last one is space, the personal space, okay? If you're far, if you're close, I try to keep a bit of a distance, okay, not too close if I don't know the person. Of course, touching, you've got to be really careful as well, especially if it's the opposite gender. Okay, so all this is included in body language. Okay, and how and when to use what, it really depends on, which culture you're communicating with. But, from Canada, from the United States, yes, we tend to do a lot more than other cultures. Okay, so I hope that I answered a little bit of your question about body language. Okay, thank you.